God is saying to you. There is a hush that falls over a life before a revelation, a felt weight, a repeated frustration, a string of closed doors that doesn't make sense no matter how carefully you've walked. Maybe promotions stall, money leaks in strange places, deals that seem sure to evaporate, or relationships that should have bloomed always wither at the last minute. You've prayed, you've planned, you've done the sensible things, and still something feels off, as if your life has been moving through a fog that refuses to lift. If this has been your season, listen now. There is a truth you need to know. A hidden struggle that has been working against the flow of your blessings, and it originates closer than you think from a woman on your mother's side. This is not to sow fear but to bring clarity and a way forward. Archangel Michael is speaking through this message to give you both the diagnosis and the remedy to expose what has been operating in the dark and to hand you the tools to walk back into the light. Imagine for a moment a household where every good thing was meant to arrive on time but kept being delayed. Picture becoming the family member who always seems to be on the verge of a promotion, on the verge of a home, on the verge of stability, and yet the verge remains a place where you live. Now imagine that from behind the comfortable chatter and family gatherings, someone holds a different agenda. This woman, perhaps an aunt who pours the tea and smiles at birthdays, a distant cousin who knows all the gossip, a grandmother whose approval meant everything, is not what she appears. She has learned through desperation or bitterness to call on dark knowledge. Hardened by jealousy or fear, she turned to ancient practices that open channels to a very different power. What started as whispered curses over a grudge grew into rituals performed in secret. Each one like a stone laid into a barrier between you and your destiny. Before you rush to judgment about the woman herself, hear this. Often these harms do not begin with pure malice but with a small misplaced desire. Someone who saw the life you were walking toward felt left out or threatened. And instead of seeking healing, they reached for shortcuts. In families, spiritual patterns and old remedies passed down like recipes. What once might have been protective superstitions can be twisted into tools of control when carried by wounded hearts. Archangel Michael shows the picture clearly. The rituals were precise, timed at moments of celebration in your life, intended to snuff out wind from the sails of your success. The effect has been cumulative. Little blockages become big detours. Money that should have come in went elsewhere. Relationships that should have supported you frayed. Opportunities stalled like engines without fuel. For years, the pattern repeated and the family laughed it off as bad luck or the price of living in the world. But it was far more deliberate. This is the moment when illumination matters. Michael's charge is to reveal because revelation is a path to freedom. He does not come to shame but to remove what blinds. Spiritually, darkness thrives in secrecy. Once nameable, once faced, it loses the space to operate unchecked. That is why you are being warned. Someone connected to her, not necessarily fully aware of the occult roots, may soon reach out. They may approach with honeyed words, offers of help, or surprising interest in your plans. Their intent might be confusing at first. They may present as a friend, a relative reconnecting, or someone who claims to have your best interests at heart. This outreach can be a test. Does your discernment work? Are you willing to pause before you hand over trust? The angels counsel that you be wary without becoming paranoid. Keep your eyes soft but your boundaries tight. So what can you do right now? First, reclaim authority over your life. This is spiritual truth dressed in practical steps. Begin with discernment. Do not share financial plans, passwords, or key family secrets with anyone whose connection to you is unclear. If an old relative reaches out after years of silence, respond kindly, but keep your private details guarded until you have confirmation from a trusted intermediary. If someone offers help that sounds too good to be true, quick loans, insider connections, certain get-rich plans, slow down. Scammers prefer people who move fast. Darkness prefers people who are unguarded. Second, document unusual events, dates, missed payments that are inexplicable, accounts accessed without your knowledge, bills that arrive late or with strange charges. This documentation will serve both practical and spiritual lenses. It gives you the facts to present to authorities if needed, and it trains your mind to see the pattern rather than live inside the anxiety. Next, build spiritual armor. Archangel Michael is not merely a figure of warning. He is an active protector. There are sound, safe spiritual practices that align you with light and remove what hinders. Start with daily declarations of truth. Speak aloud over your finances, your family, your career, and your destiny. Call them back into alignment with God's purposes. Simple words repeated with conviction change the inner atmosphere and redirect your focus from victimhood to victory. Add to this prayer, ask Michael and the hosts of heaven to surround you, to cut any cord that binds and to bring light where there has been darkness. If you come from a faith tradition, invite your elders, your pastor, or a trusted spiritual counselor to pray with you. There is strength in communal intercession. If you are not religious, adopt a ritual of mindfulness and intention setting. Light a candle, sit quietly with the intention to release what binds and visualize doors opening where walls stood. Speaking of candles, symbolism matters because it gathers intent. The ritual the video suggested is intentionally simple and safe. A white candle in a quiet space, your spoken agreement with heaven to reclaim what has been stolen. Let me lay it out clearly and responsibly. Find a quiet moment. Choose a white candle as a symbol of clarity and purity. Place it on a stable surface and light it with the firm intention of releasing the block. As you light it, say aloud in your own words or the words that follow. By the authority of heaven and with Archangel Michael's protection, I sever any unseen ties that have held back my blessings. I reclaim the prosperity, peace, and opportunities meant for my life. I cut the cords of darkness and stand in the light of truth. So it is. Let the candle burn for a time you feel comfortable with, perhaps until you settle, perhaps for a single hour, then extinguish it respectfully. This ritual is not a spell. It's a spiritual marker, a vow that you are choosing to align with light and to break what has been hidden. The real power is not the flame itself, but your agreement with God and your active steps to walk free. Be prepared when you cut cords. Sometimes there is a season of resistance. The woman who held influence over your life may react. You might feel sudden fatigue, confusing setbacks, or even critical voices rise against you. This is not a sign that you failed. It is a sign that the old order is being dismantled. Stay steady and lean on your supports. Repetition is your friend. Continue the declarations. Keep the documentation and repeat the candle ritual with reverence if you feel led. Michael's presence often comes with an immediate sense of relief in the chest, a lightness that was not there before. But spiritual warfare is often gradual. The first weeks may bring strange dreams or shadowy thoughts resurfacing. Name them, pray through them, and let them pass. Practical protections must accompany spiritual ones. Review your finances carefully. Change passwords on online accounts from a secure device. Contact your bank if you notice any unusual activity. If family finances are shared or there are legal complications, consult a trustworthy attorney who can advise you on protective measures. If the situation involves suspected theft or illicit access, do not hesitate to involve the proper authorities. Protecting yourself legally is not unspiritual. It is wise stewardship of what God has entrusted to you. At the same time, be mindful of slander. Avoid rapid public accusations without clear evidence. The goal is to secure, not to inflame. Let truth be your light and patience your policy. Reclaiming family space is also essential. A pattern of generational harm often continues because nobody names it. Consider a family conversation with boundaries and a mediator if you believe it would be received well. If safety prevents this, establish a plan that might include limiting contact, setting clear financial boundaries, or restructuring how family resources are accessed. Sometimes reclaiming power looks like leaving space, removing yourself from the table where gossip and manipulation happen. This does not mean you hate your family. It means you love your future more than you will tolerate repeated sabotage. There is also healing to be done within you. These attacks often leave emotional scars, shame, second-guessing, and the knowing worry that you will never be free. Give yourself permission to grieve what should have been simple. Talk to a counselor or a trusted friend who can help you process the wound without re-traumatizing you. Spiritual freedom is frequently accompanied by inner healing. As you clear the external blockages, invite therapy, prayer, counseling, and community to shore up the inner life. The goal is not only to stop the curse, but to replace the space it occupied with resilience, healthy patterns, and flourishing relationships. Keep your heart open to restoration beyond the individual. When a generational knot is untied, it often has ripple effects that help siblings, cousins, and future children. Your choice to reclaim and heal can be the turning point that alters trajectories for decades. Imagine your grandchildren walking into rooms of possibility because you said no to the old way of doing harm. That is the long-view power of this work. It's not just about money returning. It's about setting a new precedent of blessing in your bloodline. Pray too for the woman who caused this pain. This may feel counterintuitive, but mercy does not excuse action. It frees you from bitterness. Ask God to intervene in her life, to expose her wounds, and to offer her a path to repentance and restoration if she chooses it. In many stories of deliverance, the person who harmed either repents or fades away. Both outcomes are better than a family held in perpetual conflict. Pray for the family to be shielded from further harm and for the wisdom of leaders to guide any necessary confrontation with truth. Watch for signs of restoration as you take these steps. Small things will begin to shift. An unexpected check, a favorable call, a meeting that goes differently than expected. These are confirmations. Celebrate them thoughtfully and continue the habits that sustained you through the fight. Daily declarations, practical vigilance, communal prayer, financial oversight, and inner healing. When the fog lifts, do not rush to forget the lessons. Instead, let them become guardrails for how you operate moving forward. Finally, be gentle with yourself. Reclaiming power is courageous work. You were not meant to carry the burden of family wounds alone. But now that you see, you can choose. Choose wisdom over reaction, healing over revenge, and restoration over resignation. Archangel Michael stands with you as a defender and a guide, and the hosts of heaven join in your declaration of freedom. The darkness cannot hold what the light claims. And today, you are claiming your life back. If this message ignited something in your spirit, do not let the moment pass. Write, "I reclaim my." Blessings in the comments below as a public agreement with the prayer and a declaration of your boundary with the past. Share this video with someone in your family who needs to hear that generational patterns can change. Subscribe for more guidance and turn on notifications so you won't miss further steps you can take for spiritual and practical restoration. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to reach 10,000 divine subscribers very soon. Please share this video to your loved ones. Type Amen to affirm. Thanks for watching.